Hi guys, so Boris Johnson was doing the rounds on Wednesday defending the rise in national insurance contributions. Now he said that it was necessary to impose this. But let's be honest here, this is a Brexit tax. Now why do I call it that? Well, I'll explain that in a moment. Or better, I'll let Prime Minister Boris Johnson explain that in a moment. Here he is trying to sell the idea that the poorest in society, who are already struggling with the cost of living, rising energy prices, rising food prices, should actually pay more.
What we're doing today is unquestionably the right thing for our country. It's the right thing for the NHS because...
Sorry, just why does he do this? The right thing for the NHS, the right thing for our country. Is it in order to encourage people to believe it? It's more true if you use some sort of weird hand gestures?
We've got here in the UK, we've now got backlogs, waiting lists of 6 million people. And that means there's everybody across the country knows somebody who's waiting for cancer treatment or some sort of procedure that is crucial for their health. And we've got to give our doctors and our nurses the wherewithal, the funding to deal with that. That's why we're taking the steps that we are today. And look, I've got absolutely no problem with it. We've got to do the difficult things. We've got to take the big decisions, the right decisions for this country.
Now, that's one thing is the cost. The other thing is the staff. Brexit meant that there were fewer staff available. So there's more pressure on the workers. But let's park that for a moment and go to the cost. So Boris Johnson said here, we need to increase the national insurance contributions because we need to pay for the rising costs faced by the National Health Service, the NHS. But he said something a little bit different some years ago. He said this back in 2017 about, well, the money that's being at the time given to the European Union that could actually be spent on the NHS instead.
Or with let's talk about the 350 million, which is so beloved of everybody who interrogates me. Okay, people say to me this is a mythical sum. Actually, it's not a mythical sum. It refers to the amount of cash every week that this country does not control. How much of that does the Labour Party think they would take back control of? What are their plans for the money that we currently send to the EU? How are they going to do it? I don't think they have the faintest idea, certainly not if they continue to deny that this cash actually exists.
So for the record, I didn't ask you the question about the 350
billions. It represents billions of UK taxpayers' money.
Very keen to get one more.
I trust Theresa May to get a great deal for this country and a great deal for Europe.
Well, you trust.
So Boris Johnson here saying we need to leave the European Union to get this money back so we can spend it in the NHS. 350 million for the NHS. And here he's talking about, we need to raise national insurance contributions to pay for the NHS. Then I'll ask Boris Johnson the simple question, as he said it was not a mythical figure. What happened to that money? You were saying every week, £350 million. Why aren't you using this non-mythical number of cash that you used to send to the EU? You've saved £350 million a week. Then from Boris Johnson himself, he should be able to come up with a reason why the 350 million isn't being spent on the NHS. And instead, ordinary people who are struggling to pay their bills are coming up with the money instead. The guy is a charlatan. The guy is a liar. And unfortunately, he still has his support base. He's lied about Brexit. You can see him here talking about it was a mythical figure. It wasn't a mythical figure. It was a real number. This was real money that we were sending to the EU. Now we have it back. Now we can spend it on the NHS because he said he was going to spend it on the NHS. And it's not been spent on the NHS. So either the money did not exist, which was a lie, or it's not been spent on the NHS because of some other reason, which is a lie. So which is it, Boris Johnson? Which lie are you defending here? Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.